This is Miss Lizzie, and I want to welcome you to the Queen Lizzie podcast. Together, we will go through the history of Rosewood, Florida, and watch as the once prosperous town rises out of the bloodshed, fire, and ash to reveal the people, the memory, and the legacy of Rosewood. Watch every Thursday on Facebook and YouTube, or listen to our story on Apple or Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. Hello, everybody. I am Lizzie Robinson Jenkins, representing not only the Rosewood Foundation, but the personal testimonies and history of cherished friends and family. You are now watching the Queen Lizzie podcast. Today, we are talking with Melody Vaughn and Gabriel Hill. Good afternoon, Melody and Gabriel.
Good afternoon.
Hello, hello.
Hello. I am so honored and happy to have both of you, my former students, second grade students from years ago, as my guests today. I am really honored, and thank you all.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay.
Yes, I'm glad to be here. It's a short window for me because I'm working, but I definitely wanted to come on and give you some love.
Okay, I appreciate that. And tell us when your love started for Rosewood.
I knew about Rosewood actually growing up a bit, being born in New York, but growing up in Gainesville. I had heard of turn my camera over, the Rosewood story, and as far as how powerful and how important it was to our history. But I fell in love with the story of Rosewood because it impacted so many of my relatives and so many school members and so forth. The fact that oftentimes we don't talk about the successes of the Black community. And then Gainesville always had this energy of don't talk about it. And I felt that filtered through a lot of the neighborhood, and it didn't allow a lot of the successes that Gainesville had to offer actually shine through, because so many descendants of Rosewood either was there but quiet about being there, and it was such a stigma. And I knew that it needed to be acknowledged and celebrated because of the survival, and so many descendants of Rosewood like yourself had done so many incredible things that it wasn't something to look down upon. It was a part of history, but something to be celebrated because of what happened and what the descendants did and how they survived after such a horrific thing to occur.
Exactly, and it is being celebrated. And once I heard from you a few years ago, not a few years ago, 2 years ago, you got in contact with me, and really, it even inspired me more to want to celebrate, because I felt like I had other people out there just as interested in Rosewood. I didn't know about you and your connection to Rosewood and what you knew about Rosewood until you made that call and told me that you wanted to work with us on healing homes. Am I saying it right? Healing.
Yes, my nonprofit.
Yes. And you are.
I wanted to give back to the descendants like yourself, and teachers and police officers and persons that were on the front battle of the COVID journey, but then also Rosewood descendants popped up. And healing homes is a concept where it's, as an interior designer, there's so many little things that people need in their home. Why not target the descendants of Rosewood, help their homes that they lost, and the homes that they currently have, bring it some life, give it some love. And I started Healing Homes by Design with that in mind, wanting to give back to so many that, and just let their homes be beautiful again. Just help them with a lot of the little things that they may not have the funds or the time to take care of.
Exactly. And and that is very much appreciated by us. And Gabriel, you were a part of Melody's initial opening of what, downtown Gainesville. What was it called? You were a part of
Art,
it.
Fun, and Design.
Yes. So, like Melody, growing up, you hear bits and pieces of what transpired in Rosewood, but there was really never any educational aspects to that. You just hear from family members, "Oh, this happened," because we were so close to Rosewood in Gainesville. So you never really got the historical uh, accuracy of what transpired. So when Melody called doing her project, helping out with Rosewood, obviously we grew up and, like you said, we went to elementary school together, but we also went to middle school and high school together. So when she called, obviously I wanted to be a part of whatever she was doing. And when I attended the event, you and I was having a conversation, and we were talking about our history and how where I grew up at and where I studied. And then he was like, "Well, I taught at that particular school at that time." Like, no way. And then I was like, "Well, only black teachers that I remember were you, and but under a different name." And then he was like, "Well, that was me."
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, and I called
That
Melody over. You wouldn't believe who this is, So, so
right.
that
Yes, I said Robinson. But you know what I remembered about you all, and I'm not just saying this to say something. You were the best, well mannered, respected kids from Monteoka, where else? Brooker, Lacrosse. Oh my God, you all came, you brought a lot of respect. And I taught you in second grade, and I remember you well dressed, well trained. I can understand why you are still moving on up, as the Jeffersons would say, because you got home training. You when you came to school, you brought your training with you, and you're still ambitious today. I appreciate both of you so much, and we're going to do bigger and better things with Rosewood, keeping our history alive and getting the message out there. Thank you, both of you, for being on my show today and sharing your ideas and our plans of where we are going to take this further. Um, Melody, you are a Brown also. We really may be really closely related because the school teacher was a Brown. My mother was a Brown. And we live all in the same vicinity, and we are probably related. If not,
Yes.
by yes. If not, we do have the same goals in mind of what we are going to do. And I just want people to know that my talk is basically about Rosewood. I am a Rosewood descendant. My aunt was a teacher. My mom was a historian, to say, make sure we keep this history alive, because back then they wanted to keep everything quiet. And for years,
Quiet.
we did not talk about Rosewood. We were intimidated. But now everybody's talking about it because the history is ugly, but it's so rich and
Right.
powerful. Yes.
Well, you set the standard in elementary school for us, and it's no happen chance that Gabriel, with his vast travels across the country and his um, career, having taken that level of just prestige and et cetera, because his background is so vast. And me entering into the interior design world is so interesting from a land perspective. Gabriel having so many connections with property and landowners and investors and acquisitions, and me being an interior designer and builder and developer. And then coming back to Rosewood, where it's about people losing their land, and
Yes.
you being a teacher who taught, students. We integrated Glen Springs, which is the elementary
Yes.
school. I think we were probably the first or the second group of Black students that come in, and you set the standard because we had, up until you, I had never seen a person of color teaching a class. So I think
Okay.
me having moved to Atlanta and being around that, and my kids, all of their teachers and doctors and lawyers are African American.
Yes.
It's a norm for them, but in my generation, it wasn't. So I salute you in that because you set the
Thank
standard.
you.
You made us sit up straight and make sure our shirts were buttoned and all the details that helped shape me, as well as, again, back to the
Yes.
fact that how full circle this is with Gabriel having world travel and then coming back to land being a strong emphasis on his career, and then them losing so much land in Roswell, and then me being a
Yes.
designer. I think everything happens in order for a reason, and we just have to keep pushing the envelope, pushing that
Ex-
stage.
Exactly. And we need each other to push the envelope, to open it, to seal it, and to make sure we are on the same page and send out the same message that Black
Yeah,
history is America's history too. Okay,
exactly.
and we
Yeah.
must protect it, and we must share it with our children, the next generation, because they are the group that will take it further. And yes, Gabriel, I'm going to be talking to you later about the, what is it called down there, December in Miami, the Basel. Okay,
But our
is that,
Yeah,
is it,
but
yes.
I, unfortunately, I'm going to have to pop off because I got allocated that
Okay.
hour. But I did want to at least come on and say thank you for your continued journey.
Okay, and we're about to take a break, so if you can hang in there 1 minute, okay, and we are
Okay.
going to take our break and we'll come back. It would be Gabriel and I, okay, just hang in 1 minute. That's about time for our first half. We're going to head to a quick break and we'll be right back after a word from our sponsors.
Meldon Law has been serving personal injury victims since 1971. In those days, Jeffrey Meldon's presence as an attorney in the music scene dubbed him with the nickname the Hippie Attorney. And although times have changed, two things haven't: our commitment to bettering our community by helping the injured,
Albert, are you ready to go to the game?
and our love for the Florida Gators.
If you bleed orange and blue, Meldon Law is the firm for you.
I am Black History.
I am Rosewood Black History.
I am Florida
and
and
America's Black History, and you are too.
January 1st, 1923, the KKK insurrectionists attacked Rosewood, killing 5, burning it down.
Because a white woman lied and cried, a black man assaulted me. Rosewood redevelopment is on its way.
Want to help? Visit rosewoodflorida.com.
Welcome back to Queen Lizzie Podcast, brought to you weekly from the Steve Spurrier Podcast Room at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. We are here with Melody Vaughn and Gabriel Hill. The Queen Lizzie Podcast is brought to you by Campus USA Credit Union, live from the Meldon Law Gator Studios at Spurrier's Gridiron Grill. And a special thanks to Greg Bradley, Allstate Insurance. Okay, Gabriel, we are back. And before the break, I was going to talk to you about the Basel that's going to be taking place down in Miami. I'm very interested. I would love to come. And I talked with a group of ladies this morning, and they are starting a Basel. They are the owner, producer of the Dunn Hotel.
Yes.
You are aware of that hotel?
Yes, I am.
Yes. Okay. I don't know if you know the ladies that are in charge, but they were talking about it, and I thought about you. And if you don't mind, I'd like to put them in touch with you, let them know that you know everything.
I wouldn't say that. But yes, our back actually the first week of December this year. It changes the end of November to December. So it's actually the official dates are on the 8th, starting on the 8th of December.
Okay. And it's held at the Miami Beach, right?
There's events all over Miami,
Okay.
all over Miami, and South Beach. So there are different events all over the city. So
Okay.
there's something for everyone in
Okay.
every demographic. So
Okay.
there's a couple black um, art exhibits in their
Yes.
art in Miami that also host parties and events as well.
Okay.
But if you're not familiar with it, it's a combination of music and art festival. So it's pretty huge.
Okay, and I have a friend there. I think I talked to you earlier about him. His name is Melvin Hofnager, who is a professor at FIU and a former law and order actor. And he has written a Rosewood play with his students from FIU, and we are trying to find a place for him to do a live screening. And I talked to the young ladies this morning about him, and they're going to reach out to him. I will keep you updated and keep you informed about what
Oh,
is going on with that, and send their telephone numbers so that we can, if we need to, I will come down and we can help promote Rosewood. It's all about Rosewood and keeping this history alive. It's going to take all of us working together, and I truly appreciate you, my student, my former student.
always a student of yours, still learning.
Always, yes, and I know you are because I hear you answer and reply to me. Yes, ma'am. Okay, and that's from those days back then. But thank you so very, very much. And I'm going to talk about. We just launched our uh, website, and on there in the gallery, and I'm talking about one picture. I'm going to talk about one photo from the gallery because I got a call about it this morning, and the young lady who talked to me about that particular article was very, very surprised to know that all of the survivors did not approve of that John Singleton movie. And I don't mean it like that John Singleton movie, the Rosewood movie. Okay, and this particular person was a survivor, and his name was Wilson Hall. And when that movie came out in 1997, I'm thinking he was in his 60s, maybe. I don't remember his age, but anyway, he said to some of his fellow friends and his family and to other Rosewood survivors, I will not walk across the street to see that movie. And they wanted to know from me, why did I know the real reason why he made that statement? Of course I do. It's because the movie was created and produced by John Singleton. In that movie, Wilson Hall mother and father were the had 8 children. When Rosewood happened in 1923, the father, Bacchus Hall, had expired. He was no longer alive. So Mrs. Mary Hall, the mother of Wilson Hall, was raising her children, okay, by herself, maybe 5, 6, I don't know how many was still at home. But they portrayed her in the movie as being in a cloak room with the store merchant. And that broke his heart. He was so upset. He, like in Wilson Hall, one of the survivors, was so upset. In real life, he had a heart attack because he was upset with that movie and what John Singleton had portrayed his mom. And in real life, he died 6 months after the movie. He had a heart attack. He never forgave John Singleton for that portion of the movie wherein he portrayed his mom as less than professional or a decent woman. So when I put pictures on the website, I put them there to give education, to detail the education. And speaking of that movie, I didn't ask my mom. When they screened the movie here in Gainesville, they invited my mother to be the speaker. And after the movie, of course, they asked her, Mrs. Robinson, on a scale of 1 to 10, how do you rate the movie? She said, I give it a 7. And they wanted to know why a 7. She said, well, the two most important things that happened, it let people know that Rosewood really happened, and it let people know that white women lie on black men. And all the theater was just overcome with disappointment, reflection. They didn't say anything, but they allowed us to know that they were not pleased with my mom's explanation of the importance of the movie. And my mother said at 95, my mom was 20 when it happened, so at 95, my mom said to them, not only did they lie on black men back then, they are still doing it today. Okay, so I just wanted to bring that in there to let you all know that I enjoy and I appreciate your comments. When you view my photo gallery, if you have a comment, please let me know and I will address that, because many people did not know until right now that there was opposition against the movie. And he went on to further explain, he as in forgotten his name already. What's his name? Can't remember.
Mr.
But
Wilson?
anyway, what?
Was it Mr. Wilson?
Yes. He further expressed himself as not supporting the movie. I think I just said that, but he was disappointed. And I will make sure anytime you all have a question, let me know. Would you like to add something?
Yeah. I would like to say this, that anyone that's an earshot of this, if they get an opportunity to hear you speak, they should take advantage of that. I learned so much about Rosewood and that time, even the connection with Gainesville and some of the people that helped and with that whole episode, not only blacks, but there were some whites that I learned based on your speaking engagements, that I learned so much more than that movie could ever portray. So if anyone ever gets an opportunity to hear you speak, they need to take advantage of that, because it's so educational and it's so profound, and it's from a realistic version of what transpired.
Exactly. And that's true. And that my mom was an 8th grade scholar, and she said to me, you must, as I said, or if you don't remember, my mother was a sister to the school teacher. She was 20 years old in 1923, still single, living at home with their parents. And when my aunt came home, so distraught, so heartbroken, she said to me she wanted me to research this story, preserve it, tell the truth, authenticate it, but never, never forget it. I would be more than happy to speak to anybody, and I believe, Gabriel, the reason people enjoy what I say, they tell me often, not believe, they tell me, I feel like I was there. I feel like it is truth. And this is why I named it the Real Rosewood. So anytime you want to invite me, here I am. I love to talk about it as much as I hated the assignment. Because I told my mom it's just absolutely too painful. I can't do it. And she pleaded with me, you got to do it. Because if Mama was younger, Mama would do it. Now I know why. And because of Mama, I have met so many outstanding people like you and many other people. And once you go on my website, you're going to see a diverse audience. It's because they believe in what I am saying and doing, and they are helpful. And I know at one time you wanted to meet Steve Spurrier. I am going to make sure you meet Steve Spurrier. You probably have already met him, but I want the three of us to meet, sit down and talk. Okay, that's my goal, because you have some ideas that I want you to share with him and us. And I appreciate you so much. Anything else you would like to add?
No, I just said it was a great opportunity to be here. I love working with you. Like Melody, on behalf of me and Melody, I mean, you gave us the foundation to go on and achieve all of the things that we ever wanted to achieve in life. And without that foundation in a school like Glen Springs,
Yes.
which was an awesome. I tell everybody as elementary school, if you look at all, especially the African Americans that attended that school with you, patron,
Yes.
you find it hard not to find someone that wasn't successful, and that
Exactly.
was meant to you, the school, and that environment that you guys built for us, and it was amazing. And we thank you from the bottom of our heart. And that's why you were so memorable. And after all of those years, I didn't recognize your face, but I knew the name.
You did.
And that's how impactful it was. you know.
Yes. Yes. I remember you said, "Oh, our second grade teacher's name was Miss Robinson." I said, "Oh, okay, that's me." And you almost passed out, and you went straight to Melody and said, "Melody, guess what I found?"
Yeah,
And
and
you
then
both
she
remembered.
worked with her once and never knew. So that was awesome.
And that's the way God intended for it to happen. I tell people everything that's happening with Rosewood is God related. And because of my mother, I met you. And because of my mom and her intuitiveness and her desire and her will to make me keep that story alive, I have met so many good people. Good people. As of Thursday of this week, we are the Kate Brown. You don't know her, but anyway, she worked with Land Trust. They came down to our house, and they are going to help us. When I say our house, they came to Rosewood. I'm sorry, they came to Archer, where I live now. On the property that I live now, we are going to build a museum, a Rosewood museum, and we're going to resurrect the town with houses, maybe a school, a church, okay? And we are going to keep it alive. We are going to keep that alive. We need everybody helping. We got to bring something to Archer. Archer has very little, okay, but we are going to turn Archer into a little, what's the place down there? Disney World. We're going to make Archer a little Disney World so that we can get this history out. Make sure our kids not forget. Okay. Okay. I am continuously humbled, honored, and blessed to meet people daily and invite them to join in peace building, healing, and reconciliation through learning about the history of Rosewood. That will wrap up today's episode. I am Queen Lizzie. Until next time, this is my Rosewood story, and I'm sticking to it. Bye.
Bye. Thank you.